renting an apartment was no more than like $450 to $600 a month. So the first thing that pops in my mind, I'm like, man, I need to find me a chick to put an apartment in her name, and I'm about to run this Airbnb.
And you ran it up though.
And I did. That's exactly what I did. I ended up finding a chick to put the apartment in her name, and then we ended up going from there. And then next thing you know, 3-4 years later, I had like 10, 12 of them things. Yo, what's up with it, y'all? It's JD and Kwame. We back with another quick video. And today's video is, I don't know what I'm gonna title this video. I'm either gonna title it "The Truth Hurts," or I'm gonna title it something like, I don't know, the cold hard truth. Yeah, the truth hurts is probably what it is. And honestly, what made me want to make this video is because we live in an instant gratification society. We live in a society where people want to be coddled. They want to be told that things are gonna be easy. They want to be told that it's not that difficult, that they can do whatever they want. You know, you can still go out and, you know, you can get a God body even if you go out and eat pizza. You know, like that one dude you was talking about the other day. You was like, oh, you want to eat this salad? Or you want to eat this pizza? You know, I'm going to tell you why you should eat this pizza. Instead, it's like
the clickbait.
Yeah, everybody falling for the clickbait. So it's like, I wanted to make this video just in terms of basically explaining the process. And I'm not necessarily just talking about fitness. And that's the reason why I wanted to add Kwame into this conversation, because me and Kwame have been going this delayed gratification route for the longest, and there's been times when we've tried to go the instant gratification route, but it always comes back to bite you in the ass. Definitely. You know what I mean? 100%. So Kwame was just showing me last night, he was showing me some receipts from, you know, some earnings from his company this month, or even, no, from yesterday. It wasn't that even this month. It was like over $7,000 in a day. And like, I've been along the journey right next to Kwame from the jump. And I've seen the ups and I've seen the downs and I've seen the struggles and I've seen the, you know what I mean? This is what I'm doing and, you know, all that. So explain how long it took to actually get to this point, because you wasn't always busting numbers like 7,000 a day, 33,000 in a week. You know what I mean?
Absolutely
I don't know.
Not.
So you definitely wasn't busting those numbers. So what did it take to even get to that point?
Well, it started with the vision was to be able to do what we're doing right now, which is traveling. You know what I mean? Being a global citizen, being able to live in different parts of the world. And that vision started when I was 21, when you took me to Osaka, Japan, and that was my first trip out of the country.
Yeah, we gonna get back to that. We're gonna double back to that.
That's where the vision initially started. And when I left that trip, I was like, man, I got to figure out a way to do this all the time. Like, I have to be living this type of lifestyle. And then I started exploring different avenues on how I can do that. And then I ran across a book and a bunch of information, but ultimately it came down to being able to work remote. That's what it came down to. If I can earn dollars online, I can live in these other places and I can live such a great standard of life. And my goal was to just earn money online. It wasn't a dollar amount. I didn't want to be rich. I was just like, I just want to earn money online and
just try to move around.
For me, it was mobility.
And it's funny because when me and Kwame went to Japan, that's right when I got my Airbnb business cracking. That's right. He was 21, I was 28. And that's when I got my Airbnb business cracking. And like, Kwame had actually been the first person to even tell me what Airbnb was. Because we was trying to find hotels and we couldn't find one. And he was like, hey, did you check Airbnb? And I'm like, man, what's Airbnb? And then when I seen it, it was like $125, $150 a night. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, they making money into this. Because like the thing is that in Japan at the time, renting an apartment was no more than like $450 to $600 a month. So the first thing that pops in my mind, I'm like, man, I need to find me a chick to put an apartment in her name, and I'm about to run this Airbnb.
And you ran it up though.
And I did. That's exactly what I did. I ended up finding a chick to put the apartment in her name, and then we ended up going from there. And then next thing you know, 3-4 years later, I had like 10, 12 of them things. So it's like that was like my first play outside of like that was successful, at least working outside of that 9 to 5 spectrum. But that was honestly, it was good for me because I made a good amount of money doing it, but it also kind of hindered me in a way because it came way too easy.
And it also, it wasn't location independent.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't.
You had to be there.
I mean, technically, I really didn't have to be
didn't,
there,
but
I was there because
Yeah.
the thing was
you
that,
like being hands on.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it wasn't even the fact that I wanted to be hands on; it was the fact that the old girl wanted to be hands on, and she didn't trust me. Because and granted, everything was in her name, so I kind of understand why she wanted to be hands on. So that makes sense. But you know, getting back to the topic of the video, is me and Kwame have like this whole process has been straight slow grind. It's been slow grind, especially. And for me, when it comes down to the actual fitness aspect of it, you guys can actually see my journey on my channel. You know what I mean?
I remember we was in Miami for your 30th birthday. We was celebrating your 30th birthday.
That was actually my I think that was 31st.
Yeah,
that was something. Yeah.
And that's when you first was like, I'm about to get into this calisthenics thing.
Yep.
And you had just came off that ankle injury because you had broke your ankle about a year prior.
Yep. So I was out of shape.
He was out of shape and
burned out.
And when you look at the timeline, that was over 4 years ago.
Yep. It was 5 years.
That was over 5 years ago.
Yeah, that was 5 years.
That's not fast. Yeah. That's slow. Like
that's slow. Yeah, exactly.
But that's what it takes. So same timeline with the business. I think I was about 21 when I got the vision. 25.
But the thing is when it comes down to that timeline, I actually did make a lot of success initially, and I made a lot of gains initially. But the thing is that I was willing to give up a lot of my bad habits that I was bringing in from my past.
Definitely.
And that's the main thing. It's like if you're not willing to actual change, and you're not willing to stop drinking, you're not willing to stop eating fast food, you're not willing to start budgeting your money, you're not willing to sit down and read for 2 hours a day, study whatever craft that you're trying to get into.
You're not gonna sustain your success. You might.
Yeah. If you're not willing to do those things, then you're not gonna have success to begin with.
So before we started the video, you had said, man, because I remember times where you had made money and lost money, made money and lost money. And it's been times where one time that I distinctively remember is when you first moved to Hawaii, and I was like, yeah, bro, let me come with you or whatever. And I came out there, you know, and you let me stay with you, and I was and you was letting me do my thing. You wasn't, you know what I mean? You wasn't policing, or you wasn't giving me rules or whatever. And you probably should, because I remember 1 month we was staying together, and I had made like $7,000 that month. And then at the end of that month, I looked at my checking account, and it was like $50 in the checking account.
Yeah, I remember you were spending money like crazy.
I was spending money like crazy. And the thing about it is, like to add to what you just said, you can get it, but you don't know what to do when you have it. You know what I mean? And you have to go through those things to even understand finances and budgeting and credit and all of those things. So it's definitely a slow grind, because
and that's the thing, that reason why I wanted to name this video "The Truth Hurts." Is because there's so many people out there that are trying to like throw this instant gratification, or throw these quote unquote instant gains or instant success, make $10,000 in a month online. You know, lose 30 pounds in 30 days. Like, it does not work that way.
You can make $10,000 a month online, but if you don't understand budgeting, you're gonna lose that.
But I'm just saying, in terms of like, if somebody has zero information.
Oh no, you're not doing that.
You know what I mean?
Because that time is done. Like it was a time on the internet where you can actually make fast money.
Yeah.
That time did exist, but that time has passed. So it was a bunch of people who made a bunch of money online, and I was one of them. But nobody kept that money because they were all in their 20s.
Yeah.
They didn't understand money.
Yeah.
So it's one thing to make money, it's another thing to understand money. Two different games you playing. And I had to learn the hard way. It was 1 month where, this is when I first started traveling to Latin America, when I first started traveling to Colombia, and I had rented out this big penthouse, and I was living on top of the world, and then everything started collapsing around me, and I just made a bunch of mistakes with my money, and then literally like 4 months later, I was back on my mom's couch.
Mm-hmm.
It is so humbling. from a penthouse back to your mom's couch, like you.
I mean,
you never forget.
I mean, for me, it's like I don't even blink when I hear something like that because I just know that's the way the game works.
That's the way it works.
That's the way the game works. Is you, especially when it comes down to like entrepreneurship, it's like you might be up 3-4 months in a row, and then 4 or 5 months down the line. You looking at you ain't made no money in the month. You know what I mean? And it happens. And that's just everything ebbs and flows. So it's all about kind of figuring out kind of a blueprint that kind of works for you.
The best blueprint I've gotten, not to cut you off, but the best blueprint I've gotten was like, it was a guy named Jay Abraham. And he's like an older guy. He doesn't have a lot of content out there, but he has some really good advice. And one of the things he told me was, he was like, on a YouTube channel, he's like, look, everybody wants to go hyperbolic. Everybody wants to go straight up.
Yeah.
We live in an instant gratification world. But the smart people go like this.
Yeah.
They take the stairs.
Kind of like
this. They take the stairs. They take the stairs.
Yeah.
Because when you take the stairs, your legs getting stronger with every step.
Yeah.
You're building your foundation.
You ain't taking that elevator.
You ain't taking the elevator going straight to the top. The elevator is cheap.
Yeah.
And guess what? When you go straight to the top, you gotta come back down.
That's the thing that everybody's looking for.
Everybody wants
for
the
a cheat
elevator.
code.
Yeah.
Everybody's looking for a cheat code. They're looking for a cheat code. They're looking for a shortcut. I actually read a quote the other day, and this is the thing that actually kind of made me think about making this video to begin with. And it said, if you're looking for shortcuts, then you can forget about, I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
It said, if you're looking for shortcuts, you'll never achieve mastery. Because mastery does not come with shortcuts. Mastery comes with learning all the intricacies along the way of whatever the skill set or whatever, part of life that you're trying to master.
I feel like that's the most important thing for people to understand right now, because when I committed to mastering my game is when things start happening, because I stopped having a timeline. I stopped comparing myself to what other people were doing. I started running my own race at my pace, because I was focused on, how do I become the best? How do I master what I'm trying to do? And when you have that mentality, you can't think about, instant gratification, because you already know it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, and on top of that, it's like, we're still relatively new in the game. We pretty much have been in each lane. He's been in the lane he's in for about 5 years. I've been in the calisthenics game, YouTube game for about 5 years. So as far as like mastery, I still haven't achieved mastery. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. You guys see me, I'm still getting better. I'm still learning new movements, and I'm still having fun with it. So you really have to enjoy the process. So if it's something that you're not gonna, that's why I always say when it comes down to like getting in shape and getting into fitness, if you're not doing something that you enjoy, you should stop doing it. Because you're not going to be able to be consistent. You're not going to sustain. You can't, because there's days, and I know there's days you like, damn, like, shit is rough, know, and you question shit, and then your confidence start to deteriorate. Even I do.
And everybody does that, and then the only thing that keeps you in the game is passion. It's passion for what you. It's like, damn, you know what? I love this shit.
Passion, drive, just really just enjoying it. Today I had I wouldn't say I had a terrible training day today, but we was up last night, smoking cigars, drinking whiskey again. And this morning I ended up going out and training. Yeah. And some movements that I've been able to hit this week, I wasn't able to hit. And it's like, it was frustrating to me, but that's just a part of the game. It's like some days you're not always gonna have a personal record. You're not gonna have a personal best day every single day. And the same thing with you. It's the same. You're not always gonna have a day where you make $10,000 in a day.
So there's days where no, definitely not. And even if there is at that level, what I'm learning, because like you said, I'm new, and that's why I don't talk about the money that I make, because when you making that type of money, you're learning more so than you can actually teach.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to put your business.
No, but it's good though for the channel, because people need to understand. But there's days where, you might make 10K a day, but guess what? Like, you had 2 employees that quit. And you had somebody stole, somebody quit. You know what I mean? The bank called you up and say that your loan is due. Like, there's a bunch of other things that happen on that level where you just like, damn, I gotta deal with this shit. And passion would keep me in the game. Because there was even when I was out here,
and that's one thing. That's another thing. Another thing that I know that you got.
yeah,
That I know a lot of people in maybe your generation or maybe a little bit younger don't have is like mental strength and just not being soft. Like you're not soft. I know Kwame. I know Kwame for forever.
Most of my life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like I know he's not soft because I know what type of cloth he's cut from.
Yeah.
But a lot of cats out there are extremely
softer
soft. They don't want their feelings hurt.
No.
They don't want somebody to tell them it's going to be difficult.
No.
They don't want any of that type of stuff.
They can't even take somebody yelling at them. They like they and I you know, not to get into a relationship tip, but when I was in one, it was a scenario where the person that I was with was wanting me to speak to them in a way that they wanted, and it was always mild mannered. It was like I couldn't really.
Man, I swear, hey, I think me and you, because the last chick that I was with,
she
said
said
the same exact thing. It's like, because me and you just talk hella aggressive. So it's like,
but I said, and I told her, I was like, hey, listen, people bark at me every single day. Yeah. I get orders barked at me every day. A customer don't like a product, they pissed. An employee don't like the shift I put.